Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Cheifs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. It's a great start to the week, Chiefs Kingdom. I know everyone has a smile on their face coming off that victory against the Ravens, a beatdown, honestly, just 2 weeks ago. 0-2, people writing this team off, people questioning if they were even going to make the playoffs. Now you're back to 500. You're back in the AFC West race. And you get a victory, unlike what we saw Sunday night, where we saw a tie. Can we just be grown-ups and get rid of the ties in the NFL? It's 2025, folks. Let's determine a winner. I'm not going to get on a tangent, and so before I do, let's just go ahead and jump into what we saw Sunday afternoon between the Chiefs and Ravens. But before we do, you guys know the drill. Does not matter what platform you are on. If you could just take a few seconds, hit that subscribe button, and turn on those notifications as we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Cheifs Latest, Monday through Friday. It's week 5, folks. I don't know where the season's going, but you're not going to want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions from here on out. So please hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, it's worth noting that Baltimore, they did have a ton of injuries. This was not a fully healthy Ravens team. But besides that, the Chiefs still did what they needed to do. The Chiefs teams in recent years, even last year with all the one-score games, would have found a way to let this come down to the wire. So I'm just thankful that we could put it away in the second half and move on and not have to stress and just enjoy the rest of our Sunday. Now, I still want the Chiefs to come out faster in these games. I thought there was a few mental mistakes early on. Rashard Smith, he turned the wrong way on a route. There was a drop pass from Pacheco early on as well. That was just to name a few, but I'm going to try to stay and look at the positives here. So let's break it open with Xavier Worthy, the first positive of the offense, who played through that labrum tear and just absolutely tore it up against the Ravens. He led the team with 83 receiving yards on 5 catches and 38 rushing yards on 2 carries. He's proving that he's that spark that we've been missing. That's why our offense has been so bland. Yeah, the play calling hasn't helped, but wow, you get some speed out there and everything opens up. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that some speed would open up the whole offense? It all makes sense. I mean, there's a reason Mahomes had his best day of 2025. He hit 67% of his passes. He had 37 attempts, 270 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. Worthy's deep threat vibe, they had to respect that. Remember his league-leading postseason yards, 287 last year. He had 3 scores, also leading in the NFL. He put Baltimore's defense in a blender. We saw Nagy get creative, using some jet sweeps, using Worthy's leverage to pull linebackers out of position. It paid off big, too, for Travis Kelce. Paid big for Juju Smith-Schuster, who ate at that second level. And that go route late in the first quarter to Worthy, that's the early arm I've been wanting to see. Sometimes we've been waiting till third, fourth quarter to really start letting Mahomes let it fly. And at that point, he hasn't had any opportunity to warm up his arm that deep down the field. So they never connect right away. Get it going early. I'm really thankful that Worthy played this smart. He was sliding early to protect his shoulder. He was getting out of bounds when he could. And I'm sure that was just drilled into his head all week. Yes, we want you to be a playmaker, but we also don't want you to put your body on the line and then miss more weeks because you were just trying to gain a yard or two. So utilizing that go route, you're going to stretch defenses. Their free safety has to shade deep. It's going to leave Kelce wide open on those choice routes. It's just amazing what your offense can do when you have someone like Worthy back. It flips the script on play calling. It gives Mahomes a true field stretcher, and it's going to open lanes for others. But those mental errors that we saw early, those do need to be fixed fast because the Chiefs, yes, coming out of that hole that they were in, but still, you don't want to make too many errors down the road. I want to stay on the offense, though. I'm not quite done here, but I did want to talk about Xavier Worthy because he really stood out. But let's roll the tape on this offense, which finally showed some juice just overall, not just even from Worthy. But I'm still not sold on this running back unit. However, Kingsley Suamataia, who I personally have been tough on. I've called him out. He stepped up huge. He stonewalled, yes, a depleted Ravens defensive line, but still, he allowed 0 pressures on 41 pass blocks. That's his first clean game in his career, 19 games that he's played. He carved gaps for runners. He kept Mahomes' pocket clean. He had a good game. And then Brashard Smith also answered the call to spark this offense. I know we've been wanting to see him. I know people who listen to the podcast have been mentioning they want to see him. He came into this game with just 15 yards on 3 carries all season. That's it. But they let him have the rock a little bit more. He popped off with 4 carries, 3 catches, 36 scrimmage yards plus 55 return yards. Meanwhile, Pacheco, his role is starting to shrink. He only got 7 carries after he had double-digit attempts the last 2 weeks. Reed's hinting at some kind of shift there in the running back room. He mentioned they want to get Smith more involved. We might see some roles shift here, or at least snap counts be handled differently moving forward in that running back room. But the red zone woes still kind of hurt. You have to settle for 3 field goals. Yeah, I get it. You had 4 touchdowns. But in the red zone, you had to settle for 3 field goals? That screams last year's league-leading red zone field goal problem. The Chiefs led the league in field goals in the red zone. Not something you want to hold the lead for. Mahomes, though, it was just nice to see him. He was showing off his, magic. He's a magician, a wizard, whatever you want to call it. 270 yards, 4 scores, 67% completion rate. And it was all quick. His quick reads, surgical. 17 to 22, 142 yards and 3 touchdowns when his throws had to be under 2.5 seconds. He even torched the blitz. When Baltimore blitz, he was 9 of 13 for 98 yards and a score. There was nothing you could throw at Mahomes that was going to stop him on Sunday. The Chiefs owned the ball with 10 drives, scoring on 4 straight to open and 3 more to start the second half. If not for Butker's missed 56-yarder, it'd be 10 of 12 scoring drives since halftime of New York. Not only that, they were getting it done on 4th down. They were keeping the offense out there, 4 for 4 on 4th downs, including Mahomes' 15-yard touchdown to Hollywood Brown. It was clutch. But there's a reason they were going for it on 4th down that much, because they only went 5 of 15 on 3rd down. That 39.3% season rate, that is also a glaring hole for this offense. But Suamata'ia's anchor held firm, neutralized the moves, kept Mahomes clean, and what really worked was those quick throws that he had. Again, all under 2.5 seconds. He was thriving. Then he had Smith's burst on the swing passes. It brought the defensive focus. Defenses now have to worry about Smith out of the backfield. And we saw what Worthy was doing. We saw what Kelsey and Juju Smith-Schuster were doing at the second level. And not only that, he has the kick returns. It helps set this offense up in good field position. Mahomes' fire, Smith's spark. There's potential. Worthy being back. Rice right there on the horizon, ready for his return. There's potential. This offense will be a lot better. But the red zone settles for field goals. The 3rd down flops. The mental errors early. The offense does need to continue to smooth things out before Rice returns, but they get some of those things smoothed out. It's going to continue to be dangerous for anyone in the AFC. All right, let's switch gears to the Chiefs' defense, because they just straight up bullied the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, turning Baltimore's NFL best 37 points per game into a measly 20 points. Yeah, sure, the Ravens' injuries helped our case, but Spags' unit made Lamar Jackson's stage is absolutely miserable. Baltimore came out hot. 9-play, 70-yard drive. It looked like they were going to have success. It looks like it was going to be a shootout possibly. But Spags flipped the script right away. A perfectly timed A-gap blitz from Nick Bolton, George Karlaftis, that forced an intentional grounding on a 2nd down in the 2nd quarter. That put them behind the sticks, and it forced a punt. The pressure just didn't stop there. Leo Chanel, that blitz, it led to him getting an interception. Jackson's first interception of the season. And just constant hits. I mean, they were basically taking what Detroit did last week, and when they had 7 sacks. All those hits, you force a fumble. You send Jackson to the bench with a hamstring injury. They just got to the guy. He couldn't handle it. The Ravens went 3 for 10 on third downs and scored just once in the red zone. 3 other drives ended on downs. It was just showing that Spags crew, they slammed the door shut when it came to that. They were ready. They were hyped up. And the blitz packages, it just completely overwhelmed Baltimore's O-line. Karlaftis' speed to power move, it caused leverage collapse. Chanel's delayed blitzes forced Jackson into rush throws. It was just beautiful to see. The defense's ability to force 2 turnovers and constant pressure, it just gave Mahomes good field position, one. Then you turn a potential nail-biter into a double-digit blowout because of that. If they can keep this kind of pressure up, they'll make any offense sweat. And I would just love to see us continue to get to the quarterback, which was something that we struggled with early on. But last but not least, I want to talk about some final stats and just overall opinions, but mostly focus on Patrick Mahomes because he set some records. But before I get to that, it just seems to me like this Baltimore team just loves to have self-inflicted wounds. And that's why even if they get healthy, I don't know how far they'll go in the postseason. I mean, just even look at something like this game where you have Henry, you have Lamar Jackson, you have Justice Hill. You have a great backfield. You're on a 4th and 1. And what do? You throw a fade route. I don't know how they continue to misuse their assets. Henry averaged a solid 5.3 yards per carry, but got just 8 touches. There's only 4 carries and for 31 yards in the first half. Why do they always seem to leave the run game on the bench against the Chiefs? I get it. Spags is good against Derrick Henry and scheming against Henry, but look at those numbers that he was having. He was having success when they gave him the ball. But on our side, Harrison Butker's wobbles are still kind of nagging me. I get it. He went 3 for 4 on field goals. He nailed all 4 extra points. But that missed 56-yarder, yeah, it's a 56-yard field goal. That's not, easy per se. But when you're the highest paid kicker, that's something you have to make because when you miss it, you give the other team great field position. We saw the Ravens get a field goal before halftime because of it. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs are 2-2. They're climbing out of the AFC West basement, especially thanks to that blocked field goal against the Raiders and the Chargers' loss to a rookie quarterback. With LA potentially missing Joe Alt as well, the division race is wide open. But to wrap this up, I'm going to talk about Mahomes because he's rewriting history. Hitting win number 108 to pass Russell Wilson for the most by a quarterback in his first 9 seasons. His 252nd regular season touchdown pass came in just 116 games. That was 5 times faster than Aaron Rodgers, and when he said it. And Mahomes became the 4th player ever to reach 250 regular season touchdown passes in his first 9 seasons, joining Peyton Manning at 275, Dan Marino at 266, and Wilson at 267. With 13 games left, there is a tough slate ahead. Jags, Lions, Raiders, Commanders, and Bills. Those teams have combined 13-7 record. The Chiefs do need to ride this double-digit wins momentum, the confidence. Go with it, especially with 3 home games coming in that, stretch, which is nice. You're going to have the home crowd behind you and some tough teams. The Chiefs' ability to capitalize again on Baltimore's blunders, build a 2-2 record, keep yourself in the AFC West hunt. It's all great, but there's still some things that need to be smoothed out, as I talked about with the offense, as I talked about with Butker, and just having faster starts overall as a team. Because, again, you have a stretch coming up, but thank goodness you have 3 of those games at home. Well, that is all that I have on this lovely Monday. Thank goodness for another win, 2-2. A little, stress off the shoulders, of course, for everyone in that organization and, of course, all the fans. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Once again, I'm your host, Calvin Silvers. You are listening to Cheifs Latest, and until next time, have a good one.